Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Mindful Podcast. I'm your host, Kaylee Elliott, and I am very excited. Maybe not. I don't really know. I'm excited for this episode, but I'm also not excited. I just had probably one of the best days. Actually, I can't even say that because as we go through this episode, you guys are going to hear so much that has changed over the past few months, but today was such an amazing day that I kind of got home and started settling down, and I was just kind of not feeling it. I just had one of the best days, but now I'm just kind of blah, I guess. And so I took a little nap, and my naps no longer consist of an hour to 2 hours. My nap is usually 20 minutes, very unintentionally, but I feel so rested afterwards. So it's good that I don't really need a very long nap. But anyways, that's not the point of this video or this episode. Yes, I am doing a video version if you guys want to watch it. I post it on YouTube, but it's not necessary. It's the same thing that you guys are listening to right now. So if you're listening to the audio, if you're supporting me, if you're listening in general, if you are just, taking the time out of your day to listen to the podcast, thank you so much. But let's just get into it. We're going to do a 2022 recap, and we're also going to do a 2-part series. I don't know if I want to do 3-part, this be the first episode and then the next 2 episodes I record be the next 2 episodes, but I'm going to be doing a 2022 recap, and then I'm going to do a episode on things I've learned over the past year. And I was only going to do 3 things I learned over the past year, but as I was sitting there and thinking I have more important things that I've learned over the past year, and I can't just do 3, so I think I'm gonna do 2 separate videos depending on the length, but I really want to go into those episodes so much and just give as much detail as possible. So it's probably gonna be a 2 separate thing, but I'm probably gonna have 6, 7, 8 topics, or 6, 7, 8 points that really have impacted my life a lot over the past year. So I'm hoping to get all of these out by the end of December, but it's already the 21st, so we'll see. We shall see. But to get into the 2022 recap, I had this list of goals, and I'm probably gonna end up finding it after I'm done with this, but I had this list of goals that I was gonna read off to you guys, and obviously I'm not meant to have them for this episode because they are nowhere to be found. I have no idea where they're at, but they were goals at the beginning of the goals I wrote at the beginning of the year. And let me just say, I was looking over them, and I think a few of the life goals I had definitely got worked on this year, but all of the other goals did not happen. So things that I remember that I set goals, one was to start consistently working out, and that happened for a little while, didn't happen, and I want to get back into it, but I'm having some back issues right now, and so I just have to be very careful of what I'm doing, and it's kind of scary to even think about working out because I don't know how, what's going to impact what. So I'm just taking it lightly. I've been walking as much as possible, and it has been amazing, so that is very good. But the working out thing, we're still working on it. Number 2 was to grow the business that I was doing up until July of this year. I honestly, at the point of the separation between me and my ex, a lot of my life just absolutely changed, and the business was one of them, because at that point when we separated, I was like, I gotta be aware and mindful of where my energy is going, and this business is not giving me energy. It is absolutely taking away so much of my energy that I just cannot spend time. I cannot validate why I'm spending so much time on it when it's taking away my energy. I absolutely have nothing wrong with the company that I was working with for my business. I have nothing wrong with the products. I have nothing wrong with anything, and I've seen the success firsthand with other people, and I've seen the results of the products, but it just was not for me. It was not for me. It's not for everybody, and I'm so grateful that I even like took the chance to do the business, because not a lot of people do that, but it's just not my thing, and I'm okay with that. I still buy the products all of the time because I'm obsessed with them, but one of my big goals was to get to a certain point with my business, and I was nowhere close to that. And I think it made me realize, like, did I do everything I could have done? No. Did I do anything close to my potential? Probably not. But at the end of the day, we have to be aware of what our energy is going towards, where we're getting our energy from, what is draining, what is giving. Like, we have to be aware of that. And I was just at a point halfway through this year where I was like, you know what? This has to go. That has to go. This needs to come into my life. That needs to come into my life. And I am so grateful for those moments, because my life now, absolutely obsessed with it. Absolutely 110% obsessed with the life that I am living. And, you know, I think at the beginning of this episode, I talked about how, like, I just had one of the best days, but I'm just not feeling my best right now, and that's okay. But, you know, we have to be aware of that. And if you can hear my stomach, I'm sorry. I did not eat dinner. I was not hungry. I was not feeling good, so I didn't eat, but now it's being very loud. And if you can't hear it, then ignore what I just said. So, another one was my business, get it to a certain point, wasn't even close, and that's okay. Another one was to quit feeling like I need to be so in control of everything. God is in control of my life. At the beginning of the year, I was struggling with my faith really bad for the first 6 months of the year, and like 80% of me was like wanting to full force into my faith, and like I really felt the Holy Spirit pulling me, but this other 20% of me was like pulling me back, and it was winning. The 20% was winning. And I know that might seem like crazy to think about it, like usually the 80% is better, but that 20% was winning. Like, it was not good. And it just, you know, everything in me was like, I could feel God telling me, like, come on, like, let's go, like, come home, like, come on, let's go, leave the things behind you. But until halfway through the year, we did not do so, and whatever. But I also know that from the very beginning of the year, I learned to realize that things are going to happen in life. Things are going to come up, things are going to happen, and we're not always in control of them. And it's just, we have to at times go with the flow, and there's nothing wrong with that. And, you know, I kind of let that happen, and I am very happy with the outcome of it. So we can check that one off. And then I don't really, honestly, I couldn't really tell you half of my goals, but I am going to tell you this. 2022 was not the year I thought I was going to have. I did not think I would be where I am right now. I did not think I would have the job I have right now. I did not think I would have the friends that I have right now. I would not think that I flew to Tennessee by myself and basically rescued my friend and brought her home. I did not think that I would have 2 new puppies. I did not think that I would be single. I did not think that I would meet half the people that I've met, and that people I knew but didn't have a relationship with would be some of the most important people of my life. I didn't know I would be switching my focus in school. I didn't know that the business I was wanting to start would be completely changed and on the path that's focused so much on God. I did not think that would happen. I didn't think any of the past 6 months would have happened, honestly. In the past 6 months, like, actually, really 5. Yeah, the past, 5 months. It has been absolutely insane. Like, I feel like I've lived 3 years in the past 6 months, 5 months, whatever. It's been absolutely insane. I've healed so much of my mind because of past experiences. I've healed so much of it. I should say God has healed so much of it, because I was at a point where the only option was for me to turn to him. I had no other option. I was at a point in my life where it only made sense to turn around and look at him, bow down, get on my knees, and be like, okay, do what you're gonna do in my life, because clearly me being in the driver's seat is absolutely horrible, and it is stupid, it's exhausting. Like, please take over. That's what I did. And from that moment forward, I've been happier, because I actually deep down feel the joy and the peace inside of me. I feel whole again, because the hole that was in me was made whole by the Lord. And nothing, no physical thing is gonna fill that hole. And I just wish so many people would understand this. If you are struggling with anything in general, and there's something, there's a hole in you, and you feel like you're turning to alcohol or drugs, or you're turning to exercising so much, or you're not eating, or you're hanging out with people, none of those things are going to fill that hole. None of them. There's one thing, and that's the Holy Spirit. One thing that's going to fill that hole. And I wish I could write it on a piece of paper, stick it on everybody's forehead, and they could read it every single moment of the day, anytime that they looked in the mirror, and they could understand it. Because it is the wholehearted truth. It is the whole truth. And I pray and I hope that everybody one day understands that, and everybody turns to him. I know not everybody's going to. We are sinful creatures. Satan is present in our lives. I know not everybody's going to, but I just hope and pray that everybody gets to feel whole. Because I promise you, this peace that I'm feeling is so crazy. At the beginning of the year, I was working a 9 to 5. I love my job. I was babysitting. I ended up losing that job in February for just some reasons. I didn't get fired, but I had to step away for something that happened. It's not my story to tell, so I'm not going to say it, but I had to step away. And so I left, and I didn't work from that moment until I had my business, so I was still making money, but I started working beginning of August, and I absolutely love my job, so thank you for hiring me. But I was working a 9 to 5. I was in the wrong relationship. A relationship I was literally hanging on to by threads with my fist clenched, and it was just, it was not good. Basically, like, forcing somebody to stay in a relationship is wrong, and I forced myself, and I was hoping and holding on so tight that things would change. They just never did. But anyways, I was in the wrong relationship. I was not prioritizing the right things. I was doing the wrong business, and I was not focused on the Lord. I was not focused on my faith whatsoever. And so every single morning, I did not want to get out of bed. I was so exhausted that getting out of bed and doing anything seemed like such a daunting task that I didn't want to do it. I legitimately did not want to get out of bed. And anytime I got to take a nap, I took a nap. Anytime that I was laying down for bed, I was so exhausted that I was out. The second my head hit the pillow, I was out. And now my energy at that time was going in so many different directions, so many wrong directions, and I was not focused on the right thing. And it was horrible, absolutely horrible. And then now I work 8 to 2. I absolutely love my job. I love the people that I work with, mostly because it's older people and I don't have to deal with a bunch of drama. But I love the people that I work with. I love how much I've just been getting plugged into the places I need to get plugged into. My sole purpose in life right now, with this business, I shouldn't really say business, because yes, I'm treating it like one, but is it really technically a business right now? No, it's more of a passion project. It's more of a way to give glory to God. I am so focused on that, like with this podcast, with what I'm doing day to day. Like, if you've been following me on social media, you can tell, like, my life is for Him, and it is strictly for Him, and I don't care anymore if anybody thinks I'm crazy. Like, I just don't, because at the end of the day, I know what He's done in my life. I know what He's done in other people's lives, and having conversations that I've been having has been so fulfilling and so, like, eye-opening. Like, God deserves all of the glory. God's love and the peace that He brings into my life and into other people's lives is so important. And so why am I going to hold that back? So anyways, I work an 8 to 2. I'm plugged into my church so much. If anybody's listening from this family, you guys will know who you are, but there is a family where I work with the dad, and then me and 2 of the kids are leaders within, like, our youth part of our church, and one of them is my, like, really good friend, best friend. She's literally becoming my best friend. And, like, the mom and the younger brothers, whatever, and they have my really good friend's nephew, the dad's grandson. If you guys are listening, I love you, all of you. Like, your whole family is just amazing. I love being around you guys. And that's who I was spending the day with today, is the daughter, and her dad's on vacation right now. And I was like, I don't like when your dad's on vacation. Like, I love being around him every single day, and it just does not feel right with him being on vacation. So I just, being around that family has brought such a light into my life, and every second that I get to spend with them, I absolutely just love it. Like, it's such a blessing, and such, I don't even know, I can't even put it into words, but like, I love you guys. I love you guys so much. And yeah, that's really it. But anyways, I have the right people in my life, and I can tell you, I've been sleeping less, not really needing any naps, and I've been doing so much more than I was doing whenever I was working a 9 to 5, in the wrong relationship, around the wrong people, blah blah blah, doing so much more and feeling so much more energized. It's absolutely mind-blowing. It is absolutely mind-blowing. Like, at the end of the day, I don't even want to be laying down, because I want to get more stuff done. I want to see how God can use me so that he can get his glory, and more people can go towards him and build up his kingdom. And that is absolutely insane to me. Mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. And I am truly at a point where I'm literally asking God every single day, what's next, and how can this life get better? How can it get better? No matter, through the hardships, no matter what, he is there. And oh, so good, so good, so good. He literally fulfills you so much. And like, I am just, I can't even put it into words. There's a reel I posted, and it was like, God's gonna give you a peace that you can't understand. And that is so true. When you do so much for him and literally make it your full purpose to build his kingdom, that peace that you get in your life, mind-blowing. You can't understand it. You cannot understand it. And whenever everything was first happening, probably like the first month, I was so overwhelmed that I was like, I was kind of scared. I was like, oh my gosh, what in the world is going on? In a good way, in a good way. But I was so confused. How can I be so energized? And then I realized my energy is going in the right places. I'm surrounded by the right people. So let me just say, 2022 was a year I will never forget. A year that I am so grateful for. It started out in a way that there's some things I regret, but you know, it's life, and you just have to live, and you have to learn from it, and if you know it's a mistake, don't go back to it. But there's, from the end of July to now, 2022 has been my favorite year that I have ever lived out. Ever. And I just have to say that if you are not at the point of where you are obsessed with your life, do not stop. Do not stop. And keep praying to God every single day, multiple times a day. What do you need me to do? What is my sole purpose of being on this earth? How can I give you all of the glory? How can I build your kingdom? Like, what do you need me to do? Because when you ask that question, things are going to start showing up. And at first, you might not like the answers. At first, a lot of things might actually be taken away from you. But then things will get better. Sometimes we have to go down before we can go up. I do want to read this journal entry that I wrote. This was like beginning of August, middle of August. There's not a date on here, but this I can tell by what's written around the time that it was. I want to say it was more so end of August. But anyways, this is the overwhelming feeling that I had when so much of my life was changing, but I felt so at peace that like I had no idea what to do. I didn't know how to feel. And anyways, here we go. I feel like I've said so much, but still not enough. My life just crashed all at once, and while I'm glad it has brought me closer to you, I still feel like I'm at a standstill. I love being in the back and watching you work, but I also want to just be in control. I want my dreams so badly because I know that they will glorify you, but I'm also at a crossroads. What do I do? What do I need to focus on for my dreams? Money, which was the business that I had that I no longer do. Like I said, nothing wrong with business, nothing wrong with the people, nothing wrong with the products. Like, I absolutely loved everything about it. It's just, it was not for me, and that's okay because not everything is going to be for you. Personal business. Does my personal business need a new direction? Lord, I would just love some answers, but I know this is on your time. Thank you for getting me through the hard times and being my leader through it all. I was at a point a few months ago where everything came crashing down. Literally all at once. Got out of a relationship that was really bad. Stopped my business that was draining all of my energy. I mean, there's other things, like other small things that happened, but like those things were happening while I was also feeling like my personal business needed a different direction. And that was mainly like the name and the description of like the vision behind the business. And we're here now. I literally launched the first part of this business before switching it to the Mindful podcast and the Mindful Society in June, and it's December, and we literally have a whole different vision that I am more obsessed with because, you know, it's glorifying him. But anyways, while the bad things are happening, I am like wondering what my business needs to change to. I am getting a new job, literally starting a job, starting a small group Bible study, and like a month or so later, I get asked to start being more involved into the church in different ways. I start hanging out with this amazing person and a few amazing people. Like, so many great people are coming into my life, and now every single day I go through and I just thank you, Lord. I just thank him for everything, because without him, my 2022 would not be ending the way that it's ending. So to bring everything together, to just bring it all together, honestly, there comes a time where you do have to reflect on those goals that you had at the beginning of the year. There comes a time where, like, 2023, you best believe that the goals that I write down within the next week are going to be reflected this time next year. Because my whole vision is completely different, and I don't care what happens. I don't care anything. This time next year, all of my things in my life better be growing in such a positive way, in such a good direction, because God's kingdom is the number one thing that I'm focusing on. I'm going to do my part to take care of me. I'm going to do my part to take care of the people around me, and I'm going to do my part to take care of the people that I can only touch through this screen, because that's what I'm here to do. And so there comes a time where those goals need to be reflected on. But this year, that ain't it. I don't care what my goals were at the beginning of the year, honestly. And I'm kind of glad I lost that paper. Because the only thing that has mattered to me has been from August 1st to now. And to finish the rest of this year off. So there's a time and a place to reflect on your New Year's goals. But there's also a time and a place where reflecting is not necessary. And there's a point, like, I'm being dead serious. If your life was started changing yesterday, and it's, I don't even know what day you guys are going to be listening to this, but it's going to be before the end of the year. If it's like 2 days before the end of the year, look at the point where things started changing for the better. And if you are at a point where your life is, you know there needs to be changes, you know that your energy is not where it needs to be, sit in silence. Episode coming soon. Sit in silence, talk to God, and let him talk to you. Because that's literally all you can do. And let him guide your life. Quit being in the driver's seat. Move to the back seat or move to the passenger seat. Because God is in control and you need to let him be in control. Alright? I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode for today. And I am really planning on doing the next 2 episodes sometime before New Year ends. I have no idea when they're going to come out. If I do not have another episode out before Christmas, I hope you guys have the most amazing Christmas ever. I just want to thank you all so much for supporting me. I know that my podcast has been kind of, I don't really want to say all over the place, because we're looking back, it's really not all over the place, but I know there's been so many different topics that have been touched on. So I just want to say, if you are still around, if you are sticking around listening, like, I thank you guys so much, and I love all of your support, and I hope that this is touching your life in some way, shape, or another. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Actually, you're probably gonna hear another episode before the New Year, but Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I will see you guys in my next episode.